Good morning. And welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Joel Ibanez, and I am your worship associate today. Reverend Sian Wiltshire, our minister, will be joining us and leading the service, along with our Director of Music Ministries, Jacob Sweatland, and our music being led by Susan Shaw as our accompanist. Yes. And our Director of Religious Education, Danielle Lewis. We all welcome you this morning. We would also like to recognize the many volunteers that helped to put this service together today. We respectfully recognize that our church property rests on Ahachimen and Tongva land. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We are bound together not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but a covenant. A covenant is a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in our deeds and relationships, and we are committed to creating a welcoming community without regard to the traits that sometimes divide people. To our roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones, and for our Zoomers, we invite you to say hello in the chat. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you will find it here. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice, and this morning, I'd like to invite Marilyn Friends up to light the chalice, who is a 10-year member of the church, yes, and leads the meditation group that meets just before the service each week at 10 a.m. You may not have seen as much of her because she did have hip surgery recently, along with a matching knee surgery.
Double winner.
But she's running strong, as you can see. So please, as she lights, as we begin this, let's say our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing our opening song.
Though we've broken our vows 1,000 times, 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 though we've broken our vows of flowers of thee, though we've broken our vows and of despair, though we've broken our vows 1,000 times, though we've broken our vows, whoever you are, though we walk in our vows of flowers of thee, though we broken our caravan of despair, though we've broken our yet again 1,000 times, come yet again
Come, whoever you are, on this day when we honor Pride. You who might be heartbroken this morning, who woke up today with the winds of despair whistling through your minds. It happens when you look at the news. But come in to this place. It's a sanctuary for you, a place and a people who will hold your broken heart gently. And come in as well, those of you who walk through the world with lightness and grace, who woke this morning with strength and hope, you who have everything to give, come in. This place is also a sanctuary for you, a place and a people that will celebrate your joy with you. So come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, come and be welcome in this place of sanctuary.
We are setting the rainbow table. We are planning a giant feast. We are birthing a new creation for the lonely, the lost and least. Find the weary around that table, knowing wonder, knowing peace. If you're worried, if you're struggling, there's abundance, there is release, there is welcome for everybody, every story, every soul. Doesn't matter where you have come from, you are cherished and you are known. Come and sit at the rainbow table, full of colors and bathed in light. Come and learn how the rainbow table offers grace to our rainbow lives. Come and sit at the rainbow table, full of color and bathed in light. Come and learn how the rainbow table offers grace to our rainbow lives. Come and learn how the rainbow table offers grace to our rainbow lives.
Our Time for All Ages story this morning is a sort of modern version of an old tale. So once upon a time, in a land far, far away known as Kentucky, there were two women. They were both freelance, out-of-work graphic designers who were very much in love and decided to get married. They had a beautiful wedding. But during the wedding, a stranger stepped out of the crowd and he handed the newlyweds a silver iPhone. And he says, because your love is so true and so strong, I'm going to bless you with this magic wish iPhone, okay? You can only turn it on and use it once to make one wish, okay? To use your wish, just text what your wish is to GOD, and it will come true. Remember, you only get one wish, so use it wisely. And then, of course, he disappeared into the crowd. Well, the couple, they stared at the iPhone in their hands. I mean, they were generally usually pretty cynical, but there was something about this mysterious stranger that made them realize that maybe this is actually true. He was for real. So they took the phone home with them that evening, and they said to one another, well, gee, we've been out of work for a long time. Maybe we should get a huge contract. We'll wish for a huge contract with so much money that we can actually even just retire. They agreed that this was a good idea, and they sat down and were about to turn on the iPhone when the other said, well, wait a minute. Wait. Let's not waste our wish here. Maybe we should just work together a little harder and a little smarter and see if we can build our business, and we might really need the wish later. So they agreed that they would just start working hard, a little bit harder. And sure enough, pretty soon their business grew and they were making enough money to live off of comfortably. And that iPhone sat in a very special place on their bookshelf, and it gave them great comfort knowing it was there. Well, years went by, and the couple really deeply craved the love of children in their lives. But the attempts at having one using IVF wasn't working, and they were starting to despair. So they brought out that magic iPhone again and determined to use their wish to get pregnant, to have children. But at the last second, one of them said, well, wait a minute. Let's not use our wish just yet. Maybe we should try to adopt a child and give a loving home to someone who really needs it. Maybe we might need our wish a little bit later. So that's what they did. They went to an adoption agency and they adopted 2 wonderful children, a brother and a sister, and now their household was full of love and joy and, of course, the trials and tribulations of parenthood. And the iPhone sat in their special place on their bookshelf, and it gave them great comfort knowing it was there. Now the family was happy, and they lived they lived out in the boondocks in Kentucky, and they had very few friends. And they felt pretty isolated out there, and they wanted to raise their children in a community of like-hearted people where they could just be themselves. One said to the other, let's use our wish, and we're going to transport our lives just as they are, everything that we have, and we're going to move us instantly to Orange County, California, where I hear there's a great Unitarian Universalist congregation there. And they were just about to turn on the phone when the other one said, wait, let's not use our wish just yet. Maybe we could start a church here, and it could serve all the people like us in this county who are lonely and looking for a spiritual home. And so they started advertising worship in their living room, and within a few years, they were surrounded by a warm, growing community of spiritual people, and so grateful to have found each other. And the iPhone sat in a special place on their bookshelf, and it gave them great comfort to know that it was there. As the couple grew old together, and as they were nearing their time, they were going to leave this earth, they drew their children close to them and told them the story of the Magic Wish iPhone. They carefully handed the phone to them, saying, this magic iPhone has brought incredible happiness and untold riches into our lives. Guard it carefully, cherish it, pass it down through the generations, and it will bring blessings to you and your children and your children's children too. That is our story for today. This is not that magic iPhone, I just want you to know. So I'd like to invite Danielle up here, our new Director of Religious Education. She's going to light our children's chalice. And then we will sing our children and the teachers out to their religious education classes. Okay, before this, Wendy does the reading, I need to explain a few things to you, one of which is something called World of Warcraft. No, this is not what's happening in Gaza, okay? The World of Warcraft, for anybody here not know what, let me ask that, does anybody here not know what World of Warcraft is? Okay, it is an online game that has been around for 15, 20 years, something like that. I used to play this game all the time. I know it's a terrible name, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's what's called a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. And basically what you do is you have, you get online, and with your keyboard you can talk to people, and you move your little avatar around and it interacts with other people, and you go off and you kill really bad things, you know, the monsters and all that sort of thing, okay? So now you can't see one another, but there are ways that you can speak to people using sometimes an app called Discord. There's a whole bunch of them out there. And in this, because it's a massive multiplayer, there are thousands and thousands of people at any one time, probably I think 100,000 all around the world, any one time playing. People will then join a guild, okay? And it's just a group of people that help one another out by playing together. And I always joined what I called family-friendly guilds, so there wasn't a lot of swearing or anything like that. And there were people of all ages in these guilds. So I've made a lot of friends this way. People have been known to get married, even in World of Warcraft. They get their little avatars out and, you know, have a little wedding, which is very cute. But the other thing to note is that in the early years, most of the people who played were men and boys. And now it's pretty much evened out a lot. There's a lot of women and girls who are playing. And I found this reading, actually, which will be voiced by Wendy, in a forum called Reddit about World of Warcraft. I don't know the true name of this author, as most people on this forum called Reddit have an anonymous username, but this is what the username Timid Starmy wrote.
So I started playing World of Warcraft in 6th grade. I had always been a really feminine kid and used to go to bed wishing that I was a woman from a really young age. I started playing World of Warcraft with a friend from school, and I joined his guild. They had a way to voice talk with each other over the internet, and my voice hadn't changed yet. I got on, and all his guildmates were like, "Wow, is your friend a girl?" I remember looking at him like, "Please just go with it." And started a 4 to 5 year phase where I had a really large social circle who just unquestioningly accepted me as a girl. World of Warcraft honestly became a really huge safe haven for me at the time. I grew up extremely Catholic, and I was picked on a lot. I would rush home every single day and frantically log into the game. It was such a relief every time I was able to get on and finally be in a space where I didn't have to worry about being judged. I still feel guilt sometimes because no one knew I had been born a boy, but I afford myself a lot of forgiveness because it was a really scary time for me. Fast forward to 2023, and I am fully transitioned socially at work and at home, and I am happier and healthier than ever. I'm so grateful that I had World of Warcraft to create an environment where I could actually be myself. I know not everyone gets or supports online gaming, but I hope people can find a little light, knowing that a scared and lost kid found sanctuary in this game. Big shout out to my friend back then who probably knew more than he let on and kept all of my secrets for years.
You know, this church was founded in about 1951, I believe, that it was founded here. And people wanted to create a like-hearted and open-minded community amid what was then a very closed-minded Orange County. They found what they were looking for, and this community grew out of a living room, just like in the story, right? And they built it up, so that they built a new church. It was a church off on Victoria over there, and it was thriving and growing all the way. But unfortunately, Orange County was also thriving and growing, and we ran out of space, both for parking and for growing. So the church took the bold step to move here to this space in 2013, which is also when I came here too. Now, in the 70 plus years since this church started, our country has been going through tremendous change, right? We've had civil rights, we've had women's rights, we've had gay rights, we've had reproductive rights. Trans rights now are really big. We've always been on the right side, ironically, right, the right side, of these issues, leading the charge to make the world a more open-minded and more open-hearted place. In other words, people, we won these battles, right? And there are more and more rights for absolutely everyone, and we certainly hope they stay that way. So you would think then, as more and more people, as the circle is wider and more people have rights, that our fellow Americans would all be standing in line singing Kumbaya. Yeah, it's not happening. We are more divided than ever. So instead of singing Kumbaya together, we have an epidemic of loneliness, an epidemic of anxiety, and an epidemic of depression. And I believe that it's because people desperately want sanctuary. They want a safe place. They want a place where they belong and they feel loved, and they can't find it. In fact, every study out there shows that if you belong to a loving community, you are happier, less depressed, less lonely, and less anxious. And of course, where people have traditionally gotten this from is church. But churches of all shapes and sizes, unlike us, are shrinking and struggling right now. And I think there are two reasons for this. One is because there has been also an epidemic of corruption in churches, right? Remember the televangelist, just give me little Johnny's college fund and you can go to heaven, right? Or the pedophile priests, or misogyny in church leadership, or anti-LGBTQ legislation, the hypocrisy of preaching love but practicing exclusion. All of this has caused pain, it's caused hurt, and even deaths. And I believe that the word church, unfortunately, has become distrusted, feared, and even hated by so many. And the second thing, I think the reason why we have this epidemic of loneliness and anxiety and depression is because of our Western individualism, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but when it goes to an extreme, that gets us in trouble, right? We as a country, we don't think that we have to need one another, that somehow we need to lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps. We can do it all alone. I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to when I've said, have you reached out? Well, no, I haven't. Have you talked to a therapist? Have you talked to your friends? Well, no, I haven't. Please reach out. That is what we need. Because people need community. It's in our DNA. It's a survival mechanism, and it always has been. We need a place where we belong and where we feel safe. So people are trying to find it elsewhere, outside of churches right now, even temporarily in online gaming, for example. This is just one example. Or maybe nightclubs like Pulse in Florida. And these places now are also sometimes being invaded by hate. And when we can't find it, I believe that many people will also turn to destructive things like drugs and alcohol or other addictions, because everyone wants to feel like they are loved and belong. And a sanctuary is something that's not always easy to find, because honestly, it's different for each person, right? For some, it's a place where we can be fully ourselves. I know some people have told me in the past that it's like where I can hold my girlfriend's hand, and it's okay. For some, it's a place where they can be fully themselves. For others, it's a place to renew, to face another week. I need to feel uplifted. I need to feel something good for a while, right? Because like I said, that news, it can get to you, right? And still others, it might be a place to find love, a place of belonging where they can be validated for who they are. And it is a place where we can be safe from fear, from hate, from disdain, a place of love, belonging, and acceptance, where you can be here without judgment. But I was thinking about that word judgment, and I don't really like it because we all judge one another, in whatever way. It's just a blink thing that we do. I think it's actually finding a place where you're normal, right? You're just normalized, right? It's not just about being accepted. It's certainly not about being tolerated. Ooh, that word makes me twitch. But where whatever your belief or your identity, however broken your heart or how joyful it is, here you're part of the community, and you're unique like an individual flower, and you're also part of the crowd and making a beautiful bouquet. Here you are loved no matter what, and you belong. So I wanted you to take just a moment, you here in the room and you on Zoom. I want you to invite you to think about that for a moment, to join me in that spirit of meditation for just a brief moment about what does sanctuary mean to you? What does sanctuary mean to you? So take a few deep breaths. Get centered into yourself. Soften your eyes if you like. And ask yourself, what does being a sanctuary mean to you? And have you found that here in this church? Well, I'm glad you found us, and may others find us too. Let us sing.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary.
Kenny Wiley grew up in the UU Church and was the editor for a Unitarian Universalist World magazine for many years. He currently works as a journalist covering faith-based protests around the country. The first time my heart felt broken, I went to church. When my mom died, I went to church. When I failed a class, I went to church. When I failed a friend, I went to church. When I felt like I'd failed at life, I went to church. I didn't go asking for forgiveness. I didn't go asking for salvation. I went to church, a Unitarian Universalist church, to be reminded through hugs from friends, awkward interactions with strangers, and inspired messages from leaders that no matter how down I feel, I still matter. I still have worth. My God says, whoever you are enough. Whomever you love, you are enough. Whatever your race or ethnicity, you are enough. Whomever you love, you are enough. Whatever your economic class, you are enough. Whatever your gender identity, you are enough. Whatever you do for a living, you are enough. If you don't have a job right now, you are enough. You are a human being, and so you are enough. My God says this when we come together, worship together, listen deeply to one another, and love one another. I know too well that grieving the loss of a parent is a long, exhausting road. I also know that walking alongside a mourning friend can feel somehow even more taxing. Being there for others is plain hard. It can be tough to work up the courage to talk with a newcomer. Yet I believe that it is in those public spaces that God, or the Spirit of life, truly resides. It may go against prevailing American individualism to say that we need other people, that we like to believe that we can do everything on our own. I believe that the human spirit truly comes alive when we are challenged, prodded, and uplifted in community. In the days after my mom's death, I felt like hiding. Doing so would have been perfectly okay. I decided, though, to go to church. My friends went with me, and the community held me up, as well as my family. Being in community was harder than being alone, yet it was what I needed. I needed to sit in that sanctuary with my UU friends. I needed to sing those hymns and hear those voices of others. I believe that living out our faith requires interaction beyond our own selves. I believe it calls for community. I believe that's where God is.
I believe, too, that that is where God is. It resides in all of your hearts when we come together and share together. You know, Kenny Wiley, he says, I didn't go to church for salvation. He went for community, to feel the strength and love of the community. And I want to say to Mr. Wiley, that is salvation, right? This is saving a soul, to be able to be a place where hurt and pain and fear and anger, and finding a place that will lift you up, and to tell that you are enough, that you are unique, and also one of the crowd, that here you are loved. It's sort of an odd thing to say, but you know, our faith saves lives. And you know, it's something that's kind of funny. As a minister, I am so honored. You know, I know that sounds a little cliche, but I get to walk with people through some of their darkest hours, through some of the toughest times they come to me. And I wish I could tell you of the stories, but you know, confidentiality, right? Of my pastoral meetings with people, and how many people have said to me, I feel the love of this church with me. Or I can't believe so-and-so helped me out with this. Or I just love the energy of this church. People who have come to me who've been depressed or anxious or just lonely have found a place here, and it's because of all of you. Being a sanctuary is about saving lives, saving souls from that pain, hurt, and anger, and most of all from hate. And sometimes saving lives means running down to the border late at night to pick up refugees with no place to go, bringing them to your church and giving them a home, like we have done with our Ukrainian guests. Sometimes it means ignoring county and city regulations so that you can have people living in a space that's designated for something else. Sometimes it means, you know, flying rainbow flags so that people know that all of who they are is welcome. Sometimes it's groups like our atheist, humanist, agnostic group, or our women's group, or our artist group, or other social groups that simply create community of belonging, a place where people can share and laugh and support with one another. And it's up to each of us to build that kind of sanctuary, right? In how we treat people when they come here. You know, do we treat people differently somehow? Do we accept their pronouns, their loved ones, their age, their abilities? Do we hug them when they mourn and celebrate with a little happy dance when they need it? I believe that we do. I think we're really quite good at it. And as Kenny tells us, it takes effort to be a sanctuary, to reach out to that stranger, particularly if you're introverted, you know, to like, okay, I'm going to go talk to that person. But that's okay. It just means that we too have to constantly grow and change and open our hearts and minds just a wee bit wider each time a new person joins us, no matter who they are. And each time we do, we create for sanctuary for someone. And that's why we are thriving as a church. We are one of the few that are right now. So again, I want to invite you into that time of meditation for just a moment to think about what it means to be a sanctuary for others. How are we a sanctuary for new people? Take a couple of those deep breaths again. Get centered. How are we a sanctuary for new people? And in what way has this church saved people? And when you're ready, let us sing once again.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew.
Okay, people, today's the day. I'll approve of a board recommendation. We will be building a new sanctuary, the physical kind. And I know it's been a long time and we've been up here going, it's going to happen. Really, it's going to happen. And it is. It's happening. It's happening right now. We've got the contract. It's going to be signed next week. We got a new bid. Everything is moving forward. It's happening, right? Okay. So we're going to build a physical sanctuary in that building right over there, a building that will hold our hopes and aspirations to be the kind of sanctuary that we are, that spiritual kind of sanctuary. And I believe that being a sanctuary comes really from all of us, not necessarily a church building, but this building, this new sanctuary will embody who we are. It will create a beautiful, spiritual, uplifting space that echoes the love of this church. This is a mock-up from our architects. It'll look a little bit differently because we've gone through some little bit of changes, but mostly that's what it'll look like. How cool is that? A beautiful space. And you know what? We didn't need a magic iPhone to make it happen. What we did have, we had vision, we had intention, we had generosity, a dream team of organizers. Yeah, right? I want you all to know that I may have held some of the vision, but I have not been involved in the sanctuary team because they're so awesome. They know exactly what to do, right? They don't need the minister going, well, what about this? What about that? We did it ourselves because you all believe in this church. You all believe in it. Believe in the sanctuary that we offer in our heart, and we will now build that sanctuary so that all those in need can find us. And we're working on a marketing plan too because we need to get out there. People need to find us. We can help save lives and save souls. So we believe in this sanctuary we offer in our heart. We will now build that sanctuary so that all those in need can find us and know that they are enough, that they are loved, and that they belong. You are amazing, absolutely amazing. So thank you all for finding this sanctuary, for being a sanctuary, and for building a new sanctuary. So come, let us sing, and then In a little bit, we'll be voting.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing our closing song.
We're gonna sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. All kinds of people around the table. All kinds of people around that table one of these days, hallelujah. All kinds of people around that table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. No fancy style at the welcome table. No fancy style at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. No fancy style at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month, we are partnering with Ahachiman Conservancy, which provides a number of different, is dedicated to protecting and preserving the ancestral homelands. And we feel honored to be able to place that sanctuary on the land that they viewed as sanctuary. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and this organization. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, or you can use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you're a roomer, you can also simply use the basket that is passed around. The choice is yours. All the information on our is on our website should you need it. As always, thank you for your generosity.
In the flash of hate and terror, in the sinful light of fear, there's a yearning deep in every soul, a longing to hear.
Don't they sound great? Not to, Please join us in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitudes for the many gifts that we share.
Now is that time when we honor the important events and people in our lives, and you're invited, one and all, whether you're a member, a friend, a visitor, roomer, zoomer, to participate in this weekly ritual that we call Joys and Sorrows. And this is Wendy Karn, our intern minister, and she's going to help you light some candles. And the idea is if you would like to honor that important event or person in your life, you're welcome to come forward and light a candle. If you would like to share that joy or sorrow with the congregation, you can write it on a slip of paper that the ushers can give you if you didn't get one already coming in, and then just hand that to me as you come forward to light your candle. Zoomers, of course, you can always write it in the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll read them out loud, and Wendy will light a candle for you. So please come forward, light a candle if you would like to, and then we'll read those joys and sorrows out loud. All right. For our Zoomers, we have Sarah H. Lit would like a candle of joy. She said, I spent a week alone with my daughter Colleen in Cabo. Such a wonderful daughter and so much fun. Right on. All right, and Linda C., she would like a candle lit. She says, many, many joys and sorrows, but one specifically. One of our grandsons, who has struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for several years, called to celebrate his 1 year sober and clean with us. Right on. Hope you can hear the clapping, you guys, are online. Let's see, Francie C. said that she is having a second kidney stone surgery tomorrow, Monday at 1 p.m. to finally zap that pesky stone. She said, good surgery and healing thoughts appreciated. Absolutely, Francie. I hope it goes really smoothly. And Alejandro G., who's out in Chicago right now, he says that he's got a sorrow for his brother. May he find his sanctuary. He's visiting family in Chicago and seeing he needs what I have found in nature in Pucker and most recently in OCUUC. Yeah. We miss you, Alejandro. All right, and here in the room, let's see, Simone B. has two candles that she lit. The first one was a candle of gratitude and of sorrow. She said, for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. She said, I remember my parents telling me about it in France when she lived there. She grew up in France. She said, my father had been a medic and a POW. I was almost 2. And Simone B. also lit a candle of joy. She said, this is a very happy weekend for me. She said, my son Philip from Portland was in Washington, D.C. last week and decided to make a trip to Paris to visit his cousins. My other son, Paul, joined them with his little boy, Sebi, who is 6, from London. He came out of school, Sebi came out of school yelling, I'm going to Paris, which he loves, and as you know, that's where Simone grew up. So Jacques and Elizabeth, they lit a candle of joy. She said, for our youngest child, Emma, has graduated from high school. They say both our children are adults now. Ooh. Yeah. And Phyllis K. lit a candle of joy. She says, my brood of 14 grandkids, that's the next phase, by the way, Killshores. My brood of 14 grandkids and 10 great-grandkids is being joined by a new little girl in December. So congratulations, Phyllis. Wow, that is quite the brood, my goodness. Kristen M., she lit a candle of joy. She said, my beautiful niece Anna, who received her master's in forensic chemistry, just received her master's in forensic chemistry from Boston University Medical School. She said she's also LGBT, so yay, little heart. Awesome. Congratulations. And Michelle M. Lit a candle of hope for family reunification and housing for a misplaced homemaker. She also says, rest in peace, Lola Gloria, we love you. Let's hold Michelle in our love. So let us hold in love all the joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, whether they were spoken or silent in our hearts. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. I invite you to join Wendy in a spirit of prayer.
Holy Oneness, here we are together, rich and poor, educated and not so well educated, gay and straight, Democrats and Republicans, Some of us with light skin, some of us with darker, some of us walking, some of us unable to walk, none of us as whole as we would like to be. Help us to know that we are all your children. We are all holy stuff. May we be a blessing to the life of anyone who enters this sanctuary, and may this church be a true sanctuary. And may those of us who come as strangers in turn help us to grow in wisdom, in compassion, and in joy of living. Amen.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are a congregation made up of people who all believe differently, and yet, when we gather together, whether we are in the room or on Zoom, we make up one loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. If you're a guest, visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become a part of this beloved community. If you'd like to know more about our church, we invite you to either stop by the welcome table in the courtyard, where we do have some goodies and some information, or contact us here at hello@ocuuc.org, and we will help you get connected. You can also subscribe to our weekly email at blast@ocuuc.org. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we'll help you get connected.
And of course, lots of ways to get connected. You can see we've got all sorts of things going on. And of course, the big one today, it is our annual meeting. And Sarah, our administrator, wanted to make sure that you know that a light lunch will be served after this service. And childcare is available during the annual meeting in our nursery. If you would like to have your child have lunch, please make them a plate and take it to them in the nursery, because the nursery care workers can't leave there and escort each one out. So I know that we have a lot of our younger kids are already in there before the service as well. But we've got, we're going to be able to, if you want to meet the delegates to talk about Article 2, that's going to be after church next Sunday as well. We're also going to be celebrating the contract next week. We're going to have some cake. We're going to have maybe some champagne and sparkling cider, and just celebrate the fact that we are here. We're done. We're not done, but the long wait is over. We're moving forward. So assuming you all approve things today. So anyway, you can see there's lots of other things. The other thing is on Tuesday is our last world religions class until the fall. So we're going to be talking about Shintoism. If you don't know what Shinto is, it's a Japanese, it comes a religion out of Japan. It's absolutely amazing and wonderful. Very cool, actually in many ways, very UU. So come and learn about that as well. So, all right, people, you ready to do this? All right, come back in about 15 minutes, get some coffee, and then come, and then we're gonna, what's that? Food, yes, what about the food? Oh yeah, go in there to get food. And then come back. Thank you, and then come back. You're not leaving, right? You're just coming back. Okay, sorry. Thank you. See, it takes a community, doesn't it, right? All right, let's see here. Let's sing our benediction.
Let us go out and all do our part. Let us go out, bring joy to His heart. Let us go out with different joy. Let us go out with joy. Let us go out and all do our part. Let us go out, bring joy to His heart. Let us go out.
not the annual meeting, so get some food and come back.